Xbox because there has been a tremendous amount of discussion and debate about the next Microsoft acquisition. At this
Woo! Let's
point, everything
go.
that Xbox has attempted to
That's
buy,
right.
they've been able to do. They bought Activision Blizzard, they bought Bethesda and id.
And that's why you PlayStation fanboys feel threatened. You know, you're like, I don't understand as to why Microsoft has all this money and they ain't trying to do nothing with it. And now that Microsoft is putting their money where their mouth is, you PlayStation fanboys got a problem with it, saying that it's unfair, it's an injustice. Sony and Nintendo, they ain't never did nothing like that. They never took games out of people's platforms, even though Nintendo did it with the Super Nintendo and NES. You know, Sony never did this during the PlayStation 1 and 2, even when the GameCube and the Dreamcast couldn't get access to some third-party offers. Sony has never, dabbled into that. Now all of a sudden there's some form of integrity or some form of code that you're supposed to have when it comes down to acquiring acquisitions. Wow.
Stuff like
because if this was Sony acquiring Sega, you would have had a problem with it. And it's so funny that you call yourself a Sega fan, but Sega wanted to sell out to who, guys? Microsoft. After the Dreamcast with the original Xbox. Matter of fact, they even told Bill Gates, hey, we want to do Dreamcast backwards compatibility with your new console, which happened to be the original Xbox. So how can you call yourself a Sega fan and you don't even know this information? Like, come on, man. Take that Dreamcast hat off your head and burn it. Seriously, bro. You're not a real Sega fan, bro. You is a Sony fanboy. Like, come on, man. Now all of a sudden you have a problem with Microsoft trying to acquire Sega? Really?
GameWorks and then immediately shut it down. They bought Double Fine. They bought the people that made Hellblade. I mean, it's pretty obvious that Microsoft continues to grow their trillion-dollar brand and dumping a bunch of cash.
I thought Microsoft was losing money. Hold on, man. Let's not act like we haven't heard you say in your past videos that Microsoft is out here losing money, and now you're out here calling them a trillion-dollar company.
Into Xbox is part of their master plan. But there has been a specific talk that's been stirring up, which is this question. What happens if Xbox buys Sega?
Woo! This is good news. This is great news, man. Nobody cares what you fanboys have to say. If Microsoft does that, then, at this point, what does Sony really have? At the end of the day, we'll be able to play all these great Sega games, probably from the SG-1000 to the Sega Dreamcast, all through Xbox Superior Game Pass Ultimate Subscription Service. This is a win-win situation for everybody. As well as having access to these games on PC with the preservation. Come on, man. The only people hating on this is fanboys, bro. You're like, oh, Microsoft out here ruining studios. Where's MotorStorm? Where's Warhawk? Where's Soulcom? Where's Scythe Unfiltered? Where's Ape Escape? I can go through the list of where's Extermination? Where's Twisted? Where are these games? Folklore, Heavenly Sword, Warhawk, Starhawk, Pain, Dead Nation. Where's these games? Little Big Planet even. Come on, man. Killzone, Resistance. And you want to sit there and talk about how Microsoft, if Microsoft goes out there and buys Sega, they're going to ruin all their games? Are you serious? If anything, Sega might even have more inspiration to focus on games that they haven't focused on in a while.
I like Sega a lot. I've got my
Sonic Adventure, bro. Yeah, get out of here, bro. Talking about how you like Sega a lot, bro. When is the last time you even talked about Sega, bro? Calm down, bro, because now you aggravating me. Because you offending real Sega fans when you say that type of nonsense. Ain't nobody care about you putting on no Dreamcast shirt. Sega, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Adventure 2. Because that don't mean nothing to me. Because when was the last time you even advocated for Sega? Oh, no, you was too busy advocating for Sony. You ain't no Sega fan.
Shirt on. I want to talk about this because
that don't mean nothing.
It would be bad, but let's talk about.
Of course, it's only bad because Microsoft is acquiring Sega. But if it was Sony, everything would be fine because it'd be on my preferred platform. That's all you ponies do. But when Sony was doing this during PS1 and 2, y'all sat there and told people, well, you need to buy the superior platform. Buy the console with where the games at, which most real gamers did. Most people didn't buy these games on PS2, but the real gamers that did, that's the behavior that they've done, right? But unfortunately, a lot of those games that they enjoyed on PS1 and PS2 was Konami, Square. A lot of these weren't real, true Sony exclusives.
it would be bad. Hi,
it's bad. We wanted Microsoft to compete, and now that they're competing, you people got a problem with it. Talking about it's not ethical. Microsoft doing this is hurting the gaming industry. I would go as far to say that Sony has been hurting the gaming industry for the past 20 years. And ain't none of you Sony fanboys said anything because you, for some reason, felt that you was on the winning team. Well, guess what? Sony ain't winning no more because guess what? All Sony is doing is losing money.
He says that right now, currently, Sega is the most purchasable they've ever been. They're currently $41 million down.
Now, this would be a good purchase for Microsoft, man. Just imagine having access to all of Sega's games, man. They probably could revitalize games from even the Dreamcast, the underappreciated games, all through Game Pass Ultimate. I mean, this is incredible news to me. Now, it's sad to see that they got financial losses, but you got to remember that Sega wanted to sell to Microsoft. They did, right? And this might be the perfect opportunity for Sega to do that. They can still continue to bring out their games, and now they'll have the funding of a $3 trillion company to work on a lot of the projects that they want to. Come on, man. How are you people going to act like this is bad news? And for all the people saying, if they do that, Sega's going to be ruined. Sega has been ruined for how long now? Like, you better ask yourself, when is the last time you even enjoyed a Sega game? They still focusing on Virtua Fighter 5. Sega hasn't came up with anything ambitious. Oh, we got Yakuza games all played on the same map. Come on, man. I mean, it got to the point where it got so bad that they had to turn Yakuza into a turn-based RPG because people just got tired of the beat-em-up action combat that those games had. Like, it's getting to the point that at this rate, I want to see Sega sell out to Microsoft. They got the funding. They got the backing. This is something that Sega wanted to do before they went and got bought out by Sega Sammy, which for some reason I'm very surprised how you don't know that, considering that you call yourself a Sega fan. Like, you do understand that this has nothing to do with Sega. This has more to do with Sammy, the company that bought Sega. You hear this, dude?
Fiscal year, but that's because Sega's been making their own acquisitions. Now, the Sega brand...
What are you talking about? You talking about Sega Sammy? Sammy owns Sega. You do understand that, bro. You're acting as if Sega is its own company. It's not. Sammy owns Sega.
Bigger than people sometimes kind of fathom. The fact that they are actually doing stuff like there is, obviously the last couple Sonic games have been extremely successful. Jet Set Radio Taxi open world reboot, which is going to apparently be massively multiplayer and AAA.
That's funny.
Sega is
because the last time I checked, you didn't even talk about these games. You was too busy talking about Airbot.
Because even by their own discussions, they have talked about the fact that Xbox has been trouble keeping track with their own size. Like, what? This is the current head of Xbox Game Studios, Matt Booty, and honestly, Matt Booty has been personally responsible for a lot of these studio closures.
That's not true, because with how big the company is becoming, Microsoft was already a big company before they acquired these acquisitions, right? So it was bound to have people leaving the company. Now with Sony, that's a little different because at the time, Sony's not really acquiring anybody. So for people to leave that company in comparison to Microsoft, obviously there's going to be a lot of overlapping positions, which means that a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. It is what it is, though. But that's just the reason why people are losing their jobs is much different than the reason as to why people are losing their jobs on Sony, because people ain't buying your games on Sony. Oh, that's why they shut down Tango Game. Well, what about Gravity Rush? What about that game? What about all these Sony exclusives that you people want to continue to talk about that we don't even hear from no more? Oh, that's right, because Sony shut them down because they didn't work. Exactly.
We decided to cancel. This is like a fake quote of what would happen if they decide to buy it.
No. That's a fake quote that you people want to happen. It's so funny that you got people like Porter Rock talking about how us PlayStation fanboys, we don't talk about emotion. We talk about logic and facts and reasoning. And this is the type of behavior that you fanboys are doing. Like, this is what you people want. You even said it. It's a fake tweet to make it appear that if that's what Microsoft did by acquiring Sega, this is what would happen. You don't know what would happen. Like, there's something wrong with you people, man.
We've decided to cancel the new Streets of Rage, Jet Set Radio, Shinobi.
Now, why would they do that?
All their resources into the next Halo game. Oh, yeah, and they're only going to be making Yakuza games, no more Super Monkey Ball, because we don't like a variety of IPs. Now, this is clear. There have been multiple interviews now where Phil Spencer, where a lot of the top dogs over at Xbox have said that they're having some difficulty dealing with the unwieldy size of current Xbox. This is a tweet from a couple months ago, which games or they don't.
Oh, Xbox don't have games? Hold on, what? Oh, you're not going to sit there and claim that because you know you can't use that as an argument anymore. Let's go!
Is everything currently owned by Microsoft.
Get yourself an Xbox.
And you can see it is a tremendous stuff. There's already, just counting what's already released, stuff like Psychonauts, the Quake remake, obviously tons of stuff. Ghostwire Tokyo. Oh, wait, that studio got shut down. Minecraft Legends, which is pretty much forgotten. My point here is the fact that Microsoft themselves has talked about the fact that being in charge of thousands and thousands and thousands of employees that are all over the world.
What are you talking about, bro? Microsoft has no problem with this. We understand that by acquiring a lot of these companies, there's going to be some setbacks. There's going to be a few losses. But at the end of the day, us as the gamers are benefiting. If that showcase wasn't enough proof for you fanboys to realize that, then at this point you people are just hating. Because at the end of the day, it's all about games, and Microsoft is bringing these games to their community at an alarming rate. Matter of fact, even you PlayStation ponies are benefiting from it. So I don't understand as to why you people got a problem with how Microsoft does things, because we understand that maybe Microsoft might do maybe a little bit PC, Xbox exclusivity, but they're still going to give you access to some of their games. If this was Sony, Sony would not be doing that. If this was Nintendo, Nintendo wouldn't have been doing this. So for you people to say that, oh, well, it's gaming is, with Microsoft having all full control and this monopoly, well, think about it. Because if Nintendo and Sony own these games, they would completely go under because, one, they're not that big. Two, they don't have that much money to be able to manage all these studios. And three, they rather shut the game down than to give it to its competition. Microsoft don't see that. And that's why I respect Microsoft, because they would prefer to see the game be successful and prevail regardless of what platform the game is on, as long as the game stays alive. Sony, where's Killzone? Where's Resistance? Where's Folklore? Where's Warhawk? Where's Stoneheart? Where's SOCOM? Where's Extermination? Where's Ape Escape? Where's Tomba? Where are all these games? You want to sit there and worry about what Microsoft's doing, but what about the games that I just mentioned? ATV Fury, their own basketball series. What happened? You want to sit there and talk about how Microsoft shut down studios, but the last time I checked, Halo, Gears, and Forza still exist. What about Sony? What about the household names at Sony, besides God of War and Uncharted, which came out as of late with the PS3? I mean, what games do Sony really got? A lot of their games are newer, like Days Gone, Horizon. A lot of these games started during the PS4.
Different time zones, working on different projects, both top secret and known, is actually very difficult for them. Like, just them buying Activision Blizzard King, this was such a big transaction, and they admitted the fact that they've been having trouble trying to move these 10,000 employees into the already rather bulky Xbox business. Microsoft can afford failures. They don't need everything to be the biggest.
And that's good, because Sony can't afford to do this, and Nintendo can't afford to do this, which would mean that these companies would go under. Microsoft has the money to be able to maintain these companies. Sony and Nintendo don't. And that's the problem of what you fanboys don't understand.
Shell Call of Duty thing on the planet, but if Daddy Microsoft requires a certain sales number, or your studio gets shut down, I think that added pressure, if anything, it hurts the game experience rather than improves it. It just feels like
how so?
Developers. It just seems like the guys who are actually working on this very fun, very, very specific art make worse games if they're just constantly stressed out.
Oh, no, they just make worse games if it has the label of Xbox. Just admit it, bro. That's all you people do is hate, bro. Oh, the game is worse because it has an Xbox logo over it. You people are so emotionally attached to this console war that even the words that you say is pathetic, bro. You are out here saying that the games are worse because essentially it's under the logo of an Xbox. Like, are you kidding me? Did Sea of Thieves, was the experience of Sea of Thieves and Grounded, these same games that you PlayStation ponies thought that you guys stole, did that ruin? If anything, it made you have a better experience. That's why y'all was out here talking about how y'all got more grass foliage, right? So I don't want to sit there and hear these type of topics of you people saying, oh, because Microsoft owns it, that the games are going to get worse. Because the last time I checked, Microsoft is making better versions for you. That's what y'all saying. So where's the argument?
If their game isn't theoretically a mega hit, they all get washed. That's kind of my primary thought, is just reflected in a lot of these tweets, which is the idea that if Microsoft...
It says, do you want half of Sega shut down completely? Bruh, what is you talking about, bro? I see you have a Metroid Prime picture. First off, let me tell you something, you fake wannabe Metroid fan. First off, you want to sit there and throw that logic? You tell me when was the last time Sega has ever came out with a new Panzer Dragoon besides... Matter of fact, they had Forever Entertainment work on it. Sega didn't even want to entertain the idea of bringing the game out for themselves. Besides Sonic and Yakuza. You tell me, Persona, the same games. They know that if Microsoft acquires Sega, it's already over now. But it's fully over for PlayStation. I don't care if you get these games too. If any of these Sega games go day and date with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, that is still more of enough of a reason for me to want to do all my gaming on Xbox. Because I'm already paying for the subscription service. Now you're giving me access to all the Sega games that I want. What is the point of a PlayStation? You tell me. You tell me what would be the point of a PlayStation. Exactly, man. And then they'll have the RPG. Bro, Microsoft would be killing it, bro. They killing y'all in every genre. Online multiplayer. They're killing y'all in action shooters. Y'all still don't got a game like Gears or Halo in regards to exclusivity. I mean, at this point, Microsoft is destroying you. And if they get in Persona through the Atlas, because, if they acquire Sega, they're getting access to Atlas, it's done! Plus Skies of Arcade. Bro, it's done. Like, do I even need to say anymore? It's done. Y'all don't even got a mascot. They're going to have Crash Bandicoot on top of Sonic. Bruh. The only mascot y'all got is a made-up one called Astrobot, which nobody really cares about, and Ratchet and Clank. Like, I mean, Microsoft is providing the gamers with iconic characters while also bringing new IPs out as well, like South of Midnight and games of that nature, as well as Perfect Dark. What games do you have in comparison to that on PlayStation? I don't want to hear no remasters. I don't want to hear no cross-generation games. I want to hear about new games that are coming to PlayStation. Y'all ain't even got a new Uncharted or a new Last of Us, and you guys are talking the most garbage. Like, I mean, come on. You hear these fanboys?
Anybody. There is going to be closures. And I actually think this would probably happen with PlayStation as well. If for some reason Sony decided to buy Sega, I still feel like the tone would change. The output, the games themselves would definitely pivot to some degree. But I guess I just don't like the idea of cheering on acquisitions at this point. I mean, I've done it in the
Hold on, what? You did? Oh, exactly.
past. I'm sure somebody in the comment section is probably going to quote like some time where I said, hey, Sony should buy Square Enix, because I did say that years ago.
You see that, guys? It's like that episode from Dragon Ball Z when, Android 20 is out here sucking the life out of Kakarot, and then as soon as Vegeta comes in, because he's trying to pick on the guy with a heart virus, oh, you don't want to play anymore? Then you got to hit him with a Big Bang attack. Now y'all running. Dr. Gero, enough! Vegeta's like, you be quiet. Now you don't want to play anymore? Like, that's all you PlayStation fanboys is doing. You had no problem with all these acquisitions. You heard it from the horse's mouth. You heard it from the pony himself. And now he don't want to play no more because now Microsoft is about business. Let's go.
Years ago, I think. But I think I have soured on the idea of acquisition.
Of course you did, because you're losing. That's all it is, bro. You see that PlayStation will cease to exist in the few upcoming years, because at this point, if this happens, what is the point of a PlayStation?
If your studio is...
Well, it is necessary. You just read the article of Sega losing $41 million. So I would guess it's necessary. Unless Sony or Nintendo want to buy out Sega, then they need to be quiet. Because I do feel that out of all the IPs that Sega has, Microsoft can pull them out from underneath the ashes and make them great again.
Money. while working on actually good stuff, I want somebody to come in and sort of be an angel investor.
And that's what Microsoft is doing.
Somebody to fund more great stuff. But Sega is solvent. Sega is still completely doing great. And
you hear this, dude? Look at this. Bruh, listen. I get that you're a fanboy, bro. I have to take my glasses off because I can't even believe what I'm seeing and what you're saying. You're saying that, oh, Sega is fine. Listen to what he just said. Now look at the article. Sega suffered financial losses amounting to $41 million in the last fiscal year. You just said Sega was doing fine, and now we're finding out. Bro, you gotta be doing this on purpose. There's no way possible that you can be serious right now. You just said, oh, Sega's fine financially, and then bringing up an article that tells you that
got more ideas in the bank. Like, obviously right here, they show Skies of Arcadia and Panzer Dragoon. These are games that are both incredibly fantastic. Personally, I still think
you know, I can't say no more, man.
Dreamcast game of all time.
I'm just going to drink my minute, man.
My thought is the fact that Sega, if they really needed the cash, could start to do remasters and remakes and completely kill it.
And that's what they're doing.
The fact that people are saying that Sega would somehow find a good home at Microsoft.
They would.
Phil Spencer would definitely start firing people. Day one, we would see firings. I think I'm in a spot where I'm not going to push back. Person is, dumb or misguided. I think this person just does not understand what they're saying.
No, you don't understand what you're saying because Sega wanted to sell out to Microsoft before they got bought out by Sega Sammy. Matter of fact, Sega wanted to sell out to Namco. Nobody wanted them. Sammy bought them instead.
Sega getting bought means the person just does not understand what they're saying. Sega getting bought means we get less of the Sega we love.
Man, what is you talking about, bruh? We ain't heard from a new Jet Set Radio or a new Skies of Arcadia or even a new Virtual Fighter, and you want to sit there and talk about we're getting less of Sega? Bro, we've been getting less of Sega for the past 20 years. What is you talking about, bro? Man, I'm telling you, bro, I understand, man. Now I see as to why you people get angry. I'm not even mad, but this type of video, bro, as a real gamer, and you call yourself a Sega fan, the stuff that you're saying just really, it just really makes, I can see why real gamers would be upset about you. Because you're not a real fan of gaming, man. The fact that you even hate on this idea, you would rather see Sega go under than to see them be bought out by Microsoft. You claim to say that you love these Sega games, which I know I do because I'm passionate about the companies that I enjoy. But you would rather see this company deal with financial losses than to actually be bought out by Microsoft, where that wouldn't be a problem. And on top of the fact that these games can be pushed on PlayStation as well as different platforms, which Microsoft has stated, that's what they wanted to do. So even if Microsoft bought Sega, they probably would still put games on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch anyway. It's a win-win situation for everybody. So the fact that you hate on that shows you that you ain't nothing but a fake gamer and a fanboy.
I'm a big Final Fantasy fanatic. I'm completely obsessed with Resident Evil.
And what happened with that? And you tell me what exclusivity, you tell me what that exclusivity caused for PlayStation. Exactly. Loss of money.
Enix or somehow managed to afford the raw scope of Capcom. If somebody bought Capcom for $7 billion or whatever,
and you still would hate Microsoft. You still would hate Microsoft. And this is the whole argument that I was telling y'all before when Phil Spencer told you guys in that interview. It doesn't matter what we do because you got people like Dream Fraud over here that's going to hate on Microsoft no matter what they do. How can you guys continue to hate on this company when all they've been trying to do is provide you gamers with some of the best gaming experiences that you guys can have? And then they're also making these games even more accessible than ever. How are you guys hating? I understand that Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony have all done wrong. I'm not defending Microsoft like that, but the red ring of death, we understand that. But how, as a gamer, can you guys hate this, considering that Sega is dealing with $41 million a loss in the last fiscal year when you just said that they were doing fine?
Those would change. Release dates, the amount of games as a service.
Because at this point, all Sega has really been doing is Yakuza and Sonic games. All this Panzer Dragoon stuff that you're showing right there, Skies of Arcadia, we haven't seen these games. So I don't understand how you're even going to talk about these games when we haven't even heard about them, even when Sega is working with Sammy.
The amount of pre-order bonuses or season passes, I feel like the games we love, when they get scooped up and acquired, they have to change. They have to prove to their investors.
Bro, I'm done, man. You know, you just lost a lot of respect there. I mean, it's not like you had much respect for me anyway, but you went down a rabbit hole that I think a lot of real gamers are going to sit there. I even think some Sony fans are going to look at this video and be like, bro, like, no, you just hating, man. Like, I mean, at this point, bro, like, I mean, what has Sega done as of recently that has showed that Sega has been back to the true essence of what they used to be? I feel like Microsoft can bring that because they have the funding. They can have all these studios and they can be more experimental. Sony and Nintendo can't. Unfortunately, they can't. They just don't have the money to be able to afford to bring out all these Sega IPs. But I do think Microsoft could help preserve a lot of these games that are underappreciated and don't get the same amount of love. But hey, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. Like I said, Dream Fraud is at it again.